'Cause I can make you love me. Alright, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing Lilith in Partner's 5th house. And as always, if you don't know your astrological details, please check it out in the links below, as well as watch the introductory video of Lilith first. You know, understand who she is and what she does in astrology. Alright, let's kick it off with 5th house. You know, what is the 5th house? The 5th house is ruled by Leo and the sun, representing pleasures, entertainment, fun and games, children, art, music, just pleasures, really. So what happens when, we have Lilith, who represents primitive impulse and raw self-expression, coming into this 5th house of pleasure. So initially what we can see is that there's going to be a lot of empowerment coming from Lilith in terms of, helping the house person, be in the spotlight and not be afraid. There's nothing wrong with striving to be better. Nothing wrong with being a little more competitive, to sort of reach, who you are, and wanting that special attention. Leo energy is about being in front of people, being sort of, who you are, and also wanting to be pampered. So, there's that. Perhaps in the beginning, house person may have, have sort of uncomfortable embracing Leo energy, understanding what, a healthy ego means, understanding what pride means, understanding that sort of kingdom that the lion sits on, okay? I won't be surprised if these two individuals actually, were having adventures, playing board games, when they sort of got together. It's a very, flirtatious a little bit, and a light, romantic in this 5th house. But in any case, these two individuals would definitely sort of let each other be who they are, free to express themselves. You can be you, and I can be me. There may be some sort of competition, wanting to up one another, wanting to show up one another in that way. There can't be two people in the spotlight, can there? However, we can see that dynamic where, it's going to be like, you can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk, okay? In that sort of dynamic. In terms of intimacy, it's going to be highly creative, for sure. And, both partners will definitely appreciate one another's unique presence, their unique fire, their unique vitality in the bedroom, okay? Alright guys, so that's my analysis of, Lilith in Partner's 5th house. Comment, subscribe, check out the reports, readings, and I'll see you guys next time in the House of Details, okay? Alright, bye.